Someone in your life is playing dirty right now. Maybe you already know it. Maybe you just feel it but cannot prove it yet. They are smiling to your face and working against you in the shadows. They are taking credit for your work. They are poisoning people against you behind closed doors. They are using your trust as a weapon against you. And you have been responding the way good people respond. With patience, with understanding, with the hope that things will improve if you just keep being reasonable. Niccolò Machiavelli would look at your situation and say one thing: you are losing, not because you are weak, but because you are bringing good faith to a bad faith game. 500 years ago, Machiavelli documented exactly what to do when someone plays dirty. He studied the most dangerous political environments ever created. Renaissance Italian courts where betrayal was breakfast and assassination was a career strategy. He watched good men die because they refused to understand the rules of the real game. Tonight, you learn those rules. 7 dark psychology principles that tell you exactly what to do when someone decides to play dirty with you. These are not nice. They are not comfortable. But they work. And when someone is playing dirty with your career, your reputation, or your life, working is the only thing that matters. Rule 1. Never reveal that you know. The moment you discover someone is playing dirty against you, every instinct tells you to confront them. You want to expose them. You want to make them feel caught. You want the satisfaction of watching them realize you figured them out. This instinct will destroy you. Machiavelli observed that the prince who revealed his knowledge of a conspiracy lost his greatest advantage. The moment the conspirator knows they are discovered, they escalate. They go from slow poison to immediate action. They panic. They double down. They recruit allies to protect themselves. But the prince who discovered the conspiracy and revealed nothing was now in complete control. He knew the enemy's moves before. They made them. He could counter every action before it landed. He could gather evidence, build alliances, and time his response perfectly. You must do the same. When you discover someone is playing dirty, your face shows nothing. Your behavior changes nothing. You treat them exactly as you did before. You smile. You engage. You appear completely unaware. Meanwhile, your mind is working at full capacity. You are watching every move they make. You are mapping their network. You are documenting their tactics. You are preparing your response with the luxury of time that they do not know you have. This requires extraordinary discipline. Your ego wants the satisfaction of confrontation. Your anger wants immediate expression. But your strategy requires silence. Every day they believe you are unaware is a day they operate openly, giving you more intelligence. Every day they think you are still trusting them is a day they reveal more of their plan. Never reveal that you know. Let them play in the open while you prepare in the shadows. The confrontation will come, but you will choose when, where, and how. Not them. Rule 2. Control the information they receive. Machiavelli understood that, in any conflict, information is the primary weapon. Whoever controls the flow of information controls the outcome. When someone is playing dirty against you, they are using information about you as ammunition. They are sharing your weaknesses with your enemies. They are twisting your words to build a case against you. They are using things you told them in trust to undermine you strategically. Your response is to become the editor of everything they receive. You stop giving them real information entirely, but you do not go silent. Silence tells them something changed. Instead, you give them carefully constructed information that serves your purpose. You share things that are true but useless to them. You mention plans you have already abandoned. You express concerns about situations that no longer apply. They receive a steady stream of information that feels real but gives
them nothing to use.
More powerfully, you feed them false information strategically. You mention a plan you are not actually making. You express worry about something that does not worry you. You hint at a vulnerability you do not actually have. They take this information and act on it. They share it with your enemies. They base their strategy on it. And when they move according to the false map you gave them, they find nothing where they expected everything. Their entire strategy collapses because it was built on information you engineered. While you are feeding them false information, you are also cutting off their access to real information. You stop sharing anything genuine. You become a curated performance around them. They get what you decide they get. Nothing more. This flips the information dynamic completely. They came into the conflict thinking they had intelligence on you. They leave operating on disinformation while you accumulate real knowledge about them. Rule 3. Build your coalition in silence. Dirty players never operate alone. They have allies. They have supporters. They have people who amplify their attacks and provide cover for their actions. You cannot fight a coalition with individual effort. You need your own coalition, but you must build it without them knowing. Machiavelli watched princes fail because they built alliances loudly. They announced their partnerships and gave their enemies time to counter-recruit. The successful prince built alliances quietly. He identified key people and secured their loyalty before anyone realized a conflict was forming. You do the same. Identify the people in your environment whose support matters most. Not necessarily the most powerful people, the most strategic people, the ones who have credibility, information, or resources that will matter when the conflict becomes open. Then you approach them individually and privately. You do not tell them about the conflict. You do not ask them to take sides. You simply invest in the relationship. You help them. You provide value. You create connection and goodwill that has nothing to do with your conflict. You are making deposits in relationship accounts before. You need to make withdrawals. When the conflict finally becomes open, these people are already connected to you. When the dirty player tries to recruit them against you, they already have a relationship with you that makes that recruitment difficult. When your reputation is attacked, these people have personal positive experience with you that makes the attack less credible. You built your coalition before the battle. They are building theirs after it started. You already won the numbers. Game before the first official shot was fired. Rule 4. Attack their foundation, not their actions. When dirty players attack you, they focus on your actions. They criticize what you did. They question your specific decisions. They attack individual behaviors. Most people respond by defending those specific actions. They explain why they did what they did. They justify each decision. They get pulled into a point-by-point debate they cannot win because the dirty player controls the narrative. Machiavelli taught something different. Do not defend your actions. Attack their foundation. Every dirty player has a foundation, a reputation they rely on, a relationship that gives them power, a position that makes their attacks credible, a story about themselves that their allies believe. You ignore their attacks entirely, and you attack this foundation. If they attack your work, you do not defend your work. You quietly expose their character to the people whose opinion matters. If they criticize your decisions, you do not explain your decisions. You undermine the relationships that give them influence. If they question your motives, you do not clarify your motives. You let their history speak against them to the people they need to convince. This is asymmetric warfare. They are hitting you on the surface and you are hitting them at the roots. Their attacks might land, but they can recover. Your attack at the foundation means when they fall, they cannot recover. A tree can survive damage to its branches. It cannot survive damage to its roots. Find their foundation and apply consistent pressure there while ignoring everything they throw at you on the surface. This drives them insane because they cannot understand why you are not defending yourself. And while they are confused by your non-response to their attacks, you are quietly destroying the ground beneath them. Rule 5. Use time as a weapon. Dirty players depend on momentum. They need their attacks to land quickly before you can respond. They need the damage to be done before you organize. They build campaigns of pressure designed to force you into reactive. Mistakes. Your most powerful counter is to slow everything down. Machiavelli observed that the prince who could not be rushed could not be defeated. Every dirty tactic depends on timing. Panic them into a bad decision. Embarrass them before they prepare. Force them into public confrontation before they have allies. When you slow down, all of these tactics fail. You do not respond to their provocations immediately. You let days pass. You let their urgency sit unanswered. You operate on your timeline, not theirs. This frustrates them into mistakes. They expected your immediate emotional reaction and got silence instead. They push harder, they escalate, they become visible in their aggression while you remain composed. Their escalation shows everyone around you who the unstable person in this conflict really is. Meanwhile, you are preparing, you are gathering allies, you are building evidence, you are timing your response for maximum impact. When you finally respond, it is not in the heat of the moment. It is calculated. It is supported. It is timed to land when they are most exposed. You chose the moment. They were just waiting and growing more desperate with every day of silence. Time is the most underestimated weapon in any conflict. The person who can wait longest usually wins. Dirty players cannot wait. Their tactics require speed. Give them slowness and watch their entire strategy deteriorate while yours matures. Rule 6. Make their victory feel like defeat. This is the most sophisticated rule Machiavelli documented. Sometimes you cannot stop a dirty player from achieving their immediate goal. They get you fired. They damage your reputation. They win the political battle. Most people experience this as pure defeat. Machiavelli saw it differently. Every victory carries the seeds of defeat if you plant them correctly. When someone plays dirty and achieves a visible win against you, your response determines whether that win helps them or destroys them. If you collapse, they win completely. If you respond with bitterness and obvious damage, they win and gain sympathy. But if you respond with complete composure, continue building, and let your actions speak, their victory becomes complicated. The people watching remember how you handled it. Your composure creates doubt about whether the victory was justified. Your continued progress makes their attack look like it failed. Your dignity makes their tactics look disproportionate and vicious. You are engineering the perception of their victory to look like overreach. Over time, people who watched start to question the dirty player. Did they really need to do all that? Was it really justified? Look at how well the target is doing. They clearly were not the problem. Their victory that was supposed to end you becomes the moment people started questioning their character. And you did this not through attack, but through your response to their attack. You made their win complicated, costly, and ultimately damaging to their reputation. They got the prize they wanted and found it poisoned. You planted that poison with your composure, your continued progress, and your absolute refusal to be finished. Rule 7. End it decisively and completely. Machiavelli's most important lesson about dirty players is this: incomplete victories are defeats. If you wound an enemy, but do not finish them, you give them time to recover, regroup, and come back with greater intensity and specific hatred for you. The historical examples are everywhere. Rulers who defeated rivals but allowed them to live in exile. Those exiles almost always returned with armies. Machiavelli wrote clearly, "Injuries must be done all at once, so that the less they are tasted, the less they will offend." When you finally respond to someone who has been playing dirty, the response must be complete. You do not warn them. You do not give them a chance to change. You do not wound them and step back hoping they learned their lesson. You respond once with everything you have been preparing, and you make the response so complete that recovery is not possible. This means using everything you gathered. The coalition you built quietly is now visible and overwhelming. The documentation you collected is now presented completely. The information warfare you conducted has already undermined their credibility. The foundation you attacked quietly is now visibly crumbling. Everything you did in silence lands simultaneously. They expected a reaction to their individual attacks. They got a coordinated campaign against their entire position. They thought they were winning a series of small skirmishes. They did not realize you were preparing a total war. The decisive ending also sends a message to everyone watching. This is what happens when someone plays dirty with this person. The message protects you from the next person considering the same tactics. The story of what happened to the last person who tried this is your greatest protection against the next attempt. This is why incomplete responses are dangerous. A half measure says you can be pushed if someone is willing to pay a small price. A decisive, complete response says the price of playing dirty with you is everything. This reputation requires demonstration. It only needs demonstration once. You now have 7 rules that Machiavelli documented from watching the most dangerous political environments in human history. Never reveal that you know. Control the information they receive. Build your coalition. In silence. Attack their foundation, not their actions. Use time as a weapon. Make their victory feel like defeat. End it decisively and completely. These rules work together as a complete system. The first two create information advantage. The second two create structural advantage. The fifth creates timing advantage. The sixth shapes perception. The seventh executes with decisive force. Used together, they transform you from a reactive victim of dirty tactics into a strategic operator who turns their aggression into the mechanism of their own defeat. This knowledge feels illegal because it violates everything society taught you about conflict. Be honest. Be direct. Address problems openly. These are beautiful principles for dealing with people who play by the same rules. But dirty players do not play by those rules, and bringing good faith principles to a bad faith conflict is not noble. It is naive. It is the reason good people lose to bad ones every single day. Machiavelli did not write these observations to encourage cruelty. He wrote them to protect people who operate with integrity from people who do not. These rules are a shield built from understanding how dark human behavior actually operates. You do not use them to attack innocent people. You deploy them only when someone else chose to play dirty first. When they made that choice, they selected the game. You are simply learning to play it better than they do. From this moment, dirty players in your life are no longer a threat you endure. They are a problem you solve, methodically, patiently, completely.